I've got the Harbor Freight Central Machinery brand log splitter here, and wanted to give you my opinion of it. About 3 months ago, we had a big ice storm here, and I've got 5 acres of property. So we had a whole bunch of downed trees, which is good. I've got firewood for next year. But after falling out of a ladder while I was trying to get more wood off, then while I was chopping wood with an axe and a small piece flew off the ground and hit me in the lip and I got 4 stitches, I realized there may be some value in having a log splitter here. So how much wood have I split with this thing so far? Let me show you. These are 12 feet wide and 4 feet high. Obviously this one in front isn't quite full, but I've got 2 over there that are completely full. So all the logs that were big enough to need to be split, I've done with that log splitter. So I've gotten plenty of use out of this thing so far. Let me walk you through it here. For one thing, the maximum length you're going to be able to chop or cut on here is 18 inches. This is 18.5. As far as diameter, I'll show you some larger logs, but I've done some that are up to 10 inches, 12 inches in diameter, and that was the size that I had, and it had no problem. Sometimes I may have to flip it upside down to cut it again, but I really didn't have any difficulty. Now for this one, it was $125, but I had a 20% off coupon, so I got this for $100. And interestingly enough, I was at Harbor Freight today, and this thing is now $140. So anyway, slightly over $100 if you can get it on sale. It's got 2 arms here. These are what extend this piston here, this ram. This one, I'll show you a little closer up, but this one has a larger diameter piston here, so every stroke of this puts more force into the ram, and this one here has a narrow diameter piston, so it doesn't move as far. When you've got a real heavy log in there and you go to push here, there's a lot more force pushing back on you because of the size of the piston. So as it starts getting really hard to cut, you're going to use this smaller one, and it's and I'll demonstrate it for you. But this smaller one gets the crack started, and once it starts to split, you go back to this one. I'll show you that. Here we are, a little close up. I'm going to pull this bar out. These just pull right out. It's a steel bar. They've worked fine. One thing to be aware of is this one was shipped without oil. Not a big deal. You just need to be aware of that and have oil on hand. Straight weight 30 oil. You can buy some special hydraulic oil, but pretty much any kind of oil is going to do fine. This here is where you fill it with oil, and I've got a little bit of residue there. I'm going to wipe that off. I've got another video that shows how to fill this with oil and how to bleed it, so I won't go through all those details now, but I will say that pulling out this rubber plug here is a real bear. It's in there very tight, which is good, of course, but the hole is jagged, and that rubber, because it's such a tight hole and the hole's jagged, the plug doesn't want to go in as you push that in. So I've got some tips on another video if you have any trouble getting that in, but you fill it up and you bleed it. The way to retract the ram is just turn this knob counterclockwise and it pulls back, so that's pretty good. Another tip that I've started using here is I got a cheap candle here, and from time to time I'll rub it on the edge of this wedge here, and on this part here on both sides, because as you start splitting logs, more and more friction develops there, and that wax helps the logs slide over that easier and requires a bit less force. So let's see how this thing splits. This is a piece of oak here, pretty heavy. You can see it's not 18 inches long. What do we got here? About 13 inches, and we've got about 6-inch diameter. And like I said, I've done a lot bigger than this. For these shorter pieces, I always have another piece lying around, so I don't have to do this as long to get it started, and this works great. Let's try it. So, as it gets close here, this one's going to get harder to push. But still had no problem doing it. I didn't need to use this other one. Split it, no problem. Here's another one about 6 inches diameter. I'm going to get this thing touching there. See how this does. Now it's getting kind of hard. Ugh. But you'll see how much easier it is to push this one. Really easy. And then once you hear it start cracking, then that makes it a lot easier to open up. And that's splitting real nicely. And again, some real good oak. Another feature of this log splitter are 2 wheels back here, and this is the real heavy end, so it makes it that a single person, one person, can maneuver this. You lift up on this end, and then you can drag it wherever you need to go. One thing I'll tell you, the directions for how to add oil and how to bleed it that come with this log splitter aren't right. You don't want to do it that way. So what's my conclusion? It works as advertised. It splits pretty much anything I can fit on here and splits it without a whole lot of effort. I had enough wood, you saw how much I've got, to make this $100 a really good investment. I've saved my body quite a bit, swinging the axe, leaning over to pick them up. I'm really pleased with what I can get for $125 if you don't get it on sale. Sometimes you don't know what you're getting when you get something at Harbor Freight, but this one has held up to a lot of abuse. We've split a lot of wood, still have a ton more. It hasn't shown any signs of weakening, getting loose, getting wobbly. Set it on a flat surface and go to town. Hey, if this video has been helpful, subscribe to my channel. Got a whole bunch of other practical things, some related to wood, some not. Hope you have a great day. Thanks for watching.